Hey Deadites, how's it going? So the trailer for Evil Dead Burn has finally been released. It was released yesterday, and rather than rushing a video out for you guys, I decided to let my thoughts simmer for a little bit. I've watched the trailer a few times now, and I'm ready to give you my full breakdown and thoughts. Let's jump straight in. So the trailer begins with the character Susan opening the dishwasher and loading in some cutlery. We get a tight close-up of the cutlery in the dishwasher in the very next shot, and you just know there's some heavy foreshadowing going on there. We then hear a door close and we see Susan leave the kitchen and Alice enters the house. From there, the camera moves into some great panning shots. We see Susan's reaction to Alice entering the house and she asks Alice what's wrong. Then Joseph enters the house looking absolutely terrified and struggling to catch his breath. Susan then says to Joseph what happened, and right on cue, there's a knock at the door. I love the editing here. With every knock, the distribution logo on screen switches. It's a cool little detail that sets the tone perfectly. When Alice opens the door, she finds someone standing on the doorstep. Now this specific shot and how it's framed reminds me of a shot in the alternate ending of Evil Dead 2013 directed by Fede Alvarez. Even the character's boots look similar to Mia's. As this person enters the house, we see that she's dripping blood, and in the next shot, her fingers have clearly been severed. This will make a lot more sense later on in the trailer. We get a great reaction shot from Joseph, and it's here that we meet our first Deadite. I believe this character's name is Thea, and I'm already loving this sequence. Every Evil Dead movie has to find a way to stay fresh, and seeing her impaled through the face with a car headrest is a grisly original touch. As she drops it to the floor, we hear her speak in that classic Deadite voice.
We found you.
After the opening segment, we get a very traditional Evil Dead POV shot. Now what's interesting here is that the evil force is roaming a lot higher up than usual. Instead of hugging the ground, it's soaring high above the trees. It's a fantastic visual. We then transition to a funeral taking place for a character named William. Let's just hope this service doesn't take the same turn of events as Candy's funeral from Ash vs Evil Dead.
Fucking hell!
We then see an exterior shot of the house, which leads me to a major talking point regarding the so-called book featured in this trailer. Now bear with me on this one. We see what looks like trash or paper falling to the ground, and in the next couple of shots, we see Alice crouching down and flipping through what looks like a journal. My first reaction was, that can't be the book. For starters, it doesn't look bound in flesh, and it lacks that visceral, organic look we saw in Evil Dead 2013 and Evil Dead Rise. However, if you go frame by frame and look closely at the pages, things get really interesting. I noticed the name Nobi written in the margins, along with notes about audio files. If you're a huge Evil Dead fan, you will instantly recognise that name. To me, this looks like an investigator's journal, or at least someone's private research notes. Now this would be a perfect place in the movie to add archival audio from the original Evil Dead when Nobi says that he believes he has made a significant find. It's almost as if someone was trying to track the history of the 3 fabled volumes of Naturum de Monto and taped lost pages into this scrapbook. I even noticed a cutout news article about 4 bodies found in a cabin fire, which is a massive Easter egg and direct reference to the 2013 film. If this really is a collection of notes on the different Necronomicon incidents, it's a brilliant way to bridge the movies together without needing a traditional flesh book. Whilst all of this is going on, we hear this dialogue from Joseph.
My grandfather believed the devil would return if anyone read from the Book of the Dead.
Of course, despite the warnings, Alice ends up being the one to utter the Kandarian words, unleashing the chaos. It's all her fault. We get more shots of the evil force roaming, a hand bursting through a door, and a shot of the family standing outside the house, which I recognised as one of the very first teaser images released for the film. Then we see this weird guy. I believe he's the Deadite from the teaser who was throwing everyone around and causing havoc. I have no idea what he's doing there, I have no idea how he ties into the film, we'll just have to wait and see. Shortly after, we see Alice being attacked by Polly, the grandmother, who is now possessed. And for once, the possession has actually benefited her because she's out of her wheelchair. Now, I'm joking of course, but it's a wild sight. The trailer then starts to push the burn subtitle of the movie. These next few shots have a heavy, burning orange tint to them, and we see Alice reacting to a Deadite who is charred to a crisp and seems to have the ability to burn anything it touches. I absolutely love that concept. Whilst all of this is going on, we hear this line of dialogue.
The whole family can be reunited.
we see the words "Family is the root of all evil" on screen, and the tagline on the poster reads, "Every family has its demons." It's clear that the family theme from Evil Dead Rise has been carried over into Evil Dead Burn. Now let's go back to Thea and her missing fingers. We actually get to see what happened to her. That bald deadite from earlier appears in a car with her, she tries to escape, and he slams the door shut on her hand, causing her fingers to drop off. Now we know what happened, we just need to see how she ended up with a headrest through her face. In the next shot, we see Alice standing in the same room that we saw in the teaser trailer, revving up a circular saw. No chainsaw this time, which is a bit of a shock since every movie features one. Either way, I can't wait for the carnage. There's also a moment that totally threw me off guard. We see Deadite sprinting across the roof trying to get to Alice, who makes her way down the chimney with the circular saw. Now there have been whispers that the movie features a sequence of complete darkness where the audience only hears the carnage unfolding. I have a strong feeling it's tied to this chimney scene. Imagine Alice trapped in that narrow space, unable to see anything, while we, the audience, are forced to use our own minds to fill in the dark spots only on the terrifying and gory sounds. It's a brilliant way to invite audience participation through pure claustrophobic dread, and I am totally down with that. After that, we see the house on fire with presumably Alice on the ground, and I'm guessing the Deadite standing in front of the house is the final Deadite of the movie, or at least the Deadite who we saw earlier in the trailer who had the ability to burn everything that it touches. This shot in particular reminds me so much of the climax of the 2013 film, where the cabin was ablaze. After this sequence, things start to move really fast. We see someone being suffocated by a Deadite levitating on the ceiling. It looks like Susan based on the clothes, though I can't tell who the victim is. Now in this next shot, I am 100% convinced we just saw a returning character. We get a shot of a Deadite on a boat, and I have a very strong feeling that this is Jessica from Evil Dead Rise. Not only does she look identical, but the way she turns her hand in the next shot is a perfect mirror of her movements from the beginning of Rise, and when she does turn her hand, we see someone falling into the water. Also, consider this. This is the only time we see a lake in the entire trailer, and the last time we saw a lake in the franchise was during Jessica's possession in Evil Dead Rise. It almost fits too perfectly. I'm calling it now, she's back. It's possible that this sequence is the opening segment of the film. Following that, we see blood dripping down a fireplace, likely from Alice carving up Deadites in the chimney, and we get a great shot of Alice having her Jane Levy moment, screaming into the camera. And then we have a personal highlight for me. Alice comes face to face with a possessed dog leaping at her. This absolutely blows my mind. The last time we saw a demon dog in the Evil Dead universe was in the video game Evil Dead: A Fistful of Boomstick. In fact, when an image of the clapperboard was released, we could actually see an illustration of a demon dog. As the trailer moves forward, we're back in the bathroom and a struggle is taking place between Alice and Susan, presumably. Alice whacks the Deadite with a piece of cracked zinc, which is a very clear nod to the 2013 movie. We then see Thea again picking up a candle and saying this line.
Cheers to your perfect family.
A still of this scene was released not long ago, and it was our first look at a Deadite from the film. And then we have the end title reveal, which is absolutely amazing. The final shot of the trailer shows Joseph facing off against Deadite Thea with an electric carving knife. An electric carving knife, where have I seen that before? Thea gives Joseph a quick scare and he falls onto the open dishwasher and gets impaled onto the cutlery. To make it worse, she lowers the door to impale him even further. Now, I don't think this kills him, however. If you remember, in one of the very first teasers that we got for Evil Dead Burn, there was a clip of Joseph presumably bashing a Deadite's head in, so I suspect he survives this encounter and eventually kills Thea. So that's my breakdown, hope you enjoyed it. I think Evil Dead Burn looks very promising. What are your thoughts on the trailer? Drop a comment below and let's get a conversation going. Thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, stay groovy.